You must understand that within you lies a power, a creative force that is constantly at work. The world around you, the circumstances, the challenges, they are simply reflections of your inner state. The truth is, there is no limit to what you can achieve, for you are the creator of your own reality. The key is to embody the feeling of persistence, to act as if you have never given up, no matter what the outer world may seem to show you. You see, everything in life follows the law of assumption. When you assume that you will never give up, when you embody the feeling of determination and success, you will find that the world starts to align with that assumption. The secret to creating lasting change lies not in waiting for the conditions to improve, but in shifting your inner state, your inner belief. You must act as though success is inevitable, as if you are already the person who has achieved their dreams. In the midst of setbacks, in moments of doubt, you must persist. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the master of your experience. When you act as if, when you persist in the face of adversity, the world will respond. Every thought, every feeling you hold creates your future. And when you persist in the feeling of success, it becomes your reality. The feeling of giving up does not exist in the realm of your true power. You are not defined by failure, you are defined by your unwavering belief in your own potential. As you continue this journey, remember that you are not bound by time or external conditions. You can always shift your focus, change your inner dialogue, and embrace the reality of persistence. The power is always within you. Your ability to act as if you have never given up is a testament to the strength of your will and the depth of your belief in the life you are creating. Never allow doubt to cloud your vision for what you believe you shall become. Within each of us lies an immense untapped power, the power to shape our lives, our experiences, and our realities. This power is not something external, nor is it reliant on the conditions around us. It stems from the beliefs we hold deep within ourselves. Your reality is not shaped by what is happening outside of you, but rather by what is happening within you. Your inner beliefs form the foundation upon which your life is built. If you believe in your ability to succeed, to overcome obstacles, and to achieve your dreams, the external world will inevitably shift to reflect this belief. It is a common misconception to think that our environment, circumstances, or past experiences define who we are and what we can achieve. People often look at the challenges they face, the failures they have experienced, or the setbacks they are currently enduring, and they allow those things to influence their beliefs about themselves. They see their limitations as truths, as if they are inherent qualities they must live with forever. But the truth is, nothing outside of you has the power to define your future unless you allow it to. This is where the power of belief comes into play. The beliefs you carry within you are like a blueprint, a map, guiding your actions and shaping your path. If you hold the belief that success is impossible, that you are unworthy, or that you are limited by your circumstances, those beliefs will act as a barrier, preventing you from stepping into your full potential. But if you change your belief, if you shift your inner conversation to one of possibility, then you will start to see the world reflect that back to you. Belief is a force, and like all forces, it is incredibly powerful. It can build or destroy, create or limit. When you truly believe in something, it becomes your truth. This is not just about wishful thinking or hopeful desires. It is about understanding the true nature of belief. Belief is not just a thought that you hold in your mind. It is a feeling that you embody, an energy that vibrates through you, influencing every action you take. The more deeply you believe in something, the more it becomes a part of your reality. When you believe in your success, when you believe that you can overcome any obstacle, you begin to act in ways that align with that belief. When we look at successful individuals throughout history, whether in business, art, science, or any other field, we see that their success was not dictated by the external conditions of their lives. Yes, they faced difficulties, setbacks, and challenges. But their belief in their abilities, in their dreams, in their vision, was what set them apart. They did not allow the hardships they faced to determine their future. Instead, they held an unwavering belief in their potential and this belief became the driving force behind their success. The power of belief is not just about believing in the positive outcome. It is about believing in yourself, in your ability to persevere through adversity, and in your ability to create change. There is a certain energy that comes with this belief. It's an energy that propels you forward even when things seem impossible. This belief does not come from the outside, it comes from within, and it has the ability to transform the world around you. One of the most important aspects of belief is that it is self-reinforcing. The more you believe in yourself and your potential, the more actions you will take that align with that belief. These actions in turn will lead to experiences that reinforce your belief even further. This creates a cycle of positive reinforcement, where your belief in yourself grows stronger with each success, no matter how small. Even if you face failures along the way, your belief in your ability to overcome them will ensure that you keep moving forward. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen your belief, to show yourself that you are capable, that you are resilient, and that you can create your reality. On the other hand, if you hold limiting beliefs about yourself, you will find that the world around you reflects these beliefs. If you believe that you are incapable or unworthy, you will unconsciously take actions that align with that belief. You may avoid opportunities, sabotage your own efforts, or allow fear to dictate your choices. These actions then lead to experiences that reinforce your belief in your limitations, creating a cycle of self-doubt and missed opportunities. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, where your beliefs shape the reality you experience. The key to changing your life then is to change your beliefs. But this is not always as simple as it sounds. Many of us have deeply ingrained beliefs that have been formed over a lifetime of experiences, conditioning, and societal influence. These beliefs can be difficult to change, especially when they are negative or limiting in nature. But the good news is that beliefs are not fixed. They can be changed, and you have the power to do so. The first step in changing your beliefs is to become aware of them. Start paying attention to the thoughts and feelings that you carry with you every day. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the world around you? What do you believe is possible for you? This self-awareness is the first step in shifting your beliefs. Once you identify your limiting beliefs, you can begin to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this belief serving me? Is it true? More often than not, you will find that these beliefs are based on false assumptions or past experiences that no longer hold any relevance. The next step is to replace these limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of focusing on what you cannot do, focus on what you are capable of achieving. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, view them as opportunities for growth and learning. Start to affirm to yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I can overcome any challenge, success is within my reach. The more you repeat these positive affirmations, the more they will begin to sink into your subconscious mind, reshaping your beliefs and aligning your inner world with your desired reality. Remember, belief is not a passive act. It is an active, energetic force. You must embody the belief that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that success is inevitable. When you truly believe in yourself, when you truly believe that you can achieve your dreams, the world will begin to reflect that belief back to you. Your thoughts, your actions, and your experiences will all align with this new belief, and you will begin to create the reality you desire. The power of belief is the most potent force you have at your disposal. Your beliefs create your reality, and if you want to change your reality, you must start by changing your beliefs. The more deeply you believe in yourself and your potential, the more your reality will align with your desires. The world around you is not static. It is a reflection of your inner state. When you believe in your success, the world will mirror that belief, opening doors and opportunities that you may have once thought impossible. The power is always within you. It is time to awaken that power, to believe in yourself fully, and to act as if success is already yours. The law of assumption is a powerful and often misunderstood principle that governs how we create our experiences. It states that what we assume to be true, what we believe, and what we expect to happen will inevitably shape our reality. In simple terms, the law of assumption reveals that our assumptions, whether conscious or subconscious, about ourselves, the world, and the future, are the very forces that determine what unfolds in our lives. We live in a world that is shaped by the beliefs and expectations we carry within us. When we assume that something is going to happen, whether it is good or bad, that assumption becomes a driving force behind the events that manifest. Our assumptions are not merely wishful thoughts or fleeting desires. They are deeply held beliefs that influence our actions, emotions, and perceptions. The law of assumption operates on the premise that the mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. When we assume something, when we wholeheartedly believe it to be true, our mind accepts it as fact, and the world responds accordingly. This is why the law of assumption is such a powerful tool in the process of creation. If we assume success, if we assume that we are capable of achieving our desires, we begin to act in alignment with that assumption, and the universe moves to bring our assumption to fruition. Assuming success is not just about thinking positive thoughts or hoping for the best. It goes beyond superficial optimism. It involves embodying the belief that success is inevitable, regardless of the current circumstances or challenges. When you act as if success is already yours, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind and to the world around you. This belief shapes the actions you take, the decisions you make, and the opportunities that present themselves. The law of assumption teaches us that we must live as though we have already received what we desire, embracing the feeling of success and satisfaction as if it has already happened. For instance, if you desire to be a successful entrepreneur, the law of assumption suggests that you must assume without doubt that you are already successful. You must carry the mindset, the confidence, and the energy of someone who is already living that reality. When you operate from this place of assumption, you begin to take actions that reflect this belief. You will find yourself making decisions, taking risks, and seizing opportunities in a way that aligns with your assumed success. The universe, in turn, will respond to this alignment, and the circumstances around you will begin to shift to match the assumption you hold. The law of assumption also extends to our relationships. If you assume that others respect you, value you, and appreciate you, you will carry yourself in a way that commands respect. Your assumptions influence how you communicate, how you interact, and how others respond to you. People will reflect your assumptions about them, often unknowingly, because they are responding to the energy you are putting out. When you assume positive outcomes, when you assume that people will treat you with kindness and respect, you will begin to notice more of those experiences coming into your life. On the other hand, if you assume that others will treat you poorly or disrespect you, your actions and energy will reflect that assumption, and you will likely find yourself attracting situations and people that mirror that belief. One of the most important aspects of the law of assumption is the realization that it does not matter what the current circumstances are. The law works regardless of whether your present situation is aligned with your desired outcome or not. The law of assumption works best when you embrace it fully, regardless of any external evidence to the contrary. It is easy to let the external world dictate our assumptions and beliefs. If we see evidence of failure or lack in our current circumstances, we may assume that success is out of reach. However, the law of assumption teaches us that external circumstances are merely temporary reflections of past assumptions, and they do not have to dictate our future. In fact, the more we assume the reality we want to create, the more we begin to shift those external conditions in our favor. A key part of this process is the ability to remain persistent in your assumptions, even when external evidence may suggest otherwise. The law of assumption encourages you to focus on the assumption, the belief, and the feeling of already having what you desire without waiting for evidence to prove it. This is where the power lies. It is not about waiting for things to change before you assume success. It is about assuming success even when things seem to be going in the opposite direction. When you consistently hold on to the assumption that success is yours, regardless of the present circumstances. You begin to reshape the conditions around you. One way to practice the law of assumption is to visualize your desired outcome, not as something in the future, but as something that is happening right now. In your mind's eye, see yourself already having achieved what you desire. Feel the emotions of success, joy, and fulfillment, as if you are living it right now. By doing this, you are planting the seeds of your assumption, creating a powerful force of energy that will begin to attract and align the circumstances needed for your success. Another important aspect of the law of assumption is the understanding that our assumptions affect more than just our actions. They also affect our feelings and our vibration. When you assume that something is true, you begin to feel as though it is true. You generate the emotions that align with your assumption, and this emotional energy is what powers your actions. When you assume that you are successful, you will begin to feel confident, powerful, and capable. This feeling then propels you into action, creating a cycle of positive energy that attracts the desired outcome. The law of assumption can be applied to every area of your life. Whether you are seeking wealth, health, love, or success, the key is to assume that you already have it. The law of assumption teaches us that what we assume, we become. What we believe, we create. The moment you assume that success is inevitable, that health and vitality are already yours, that love is already present in your life, you begin to act as if it is true. This shift in consciousness is the catalyst for creating the life you desire. It is essential to remember that the law of assumption is not about pretending to have something you don't have or about deceiving yourself. It is about aligning your inner state with the reality you want to create. It is about fully embracing the belief that your desires are already fulfilled and living as though they are. When you do this, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe, and the world begins to respond to your assumptions. In conclusion, the law of assumption is a powerful and transformative principle that guides the way we create our reality. When we assume success, when we assume that our desires are already fulfilled, we set in motion a series of events that will manifest our assumptions into reality. It is not the external world that defines us, but our internal beliefs and assumptions. The more we assume, the more we begin to see the evidence of our assumptions unfolding before us. When you assume success, you act in alignment with success, and the universe will meet you with the opportunities and circumstances that match your assumption. The law of assumption is a reminder that we are the creators of our experience, and that what we assume is what we become. Persistence is one of the most powerful forces that anyone can harness when it comes to achieving success. It is not merely about sticking to something until it happens, but about cultivating an inner strength that drives you forward regardless of the circumstances. Persistence is the ability to continue moving towards your goals despite setbacks, obstacles, or even failures. It is the refusal to give up when things seem impossible. The unwavering belief that you can and will overcome anything standing in your way. In moments of doubt or adversity, persistence becomes the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. When you cultivate persistence, you are choosing to remain committed to your vision, even when it feels like the universe is conspiring against you. Many people face moments when everything seems to be falling apart, when the path ahead appears unclear or too difficult to navigate. It is in these moments that the power of persistence truly reveals itself. Those who succeed are not necessarily the ones who never face adversity or who find themselves in a position of constant ease. Success comes to those who, despite the difficulties and challenges they face, continue to push forward, continue to believe in the possibility of their dreams, and continue to take action. The key to persistence lies in one's mindset. It is easy to be motivated when things are going well, when everything seems to align effortlessly. But the real test comes when life throws its challenges at you. How you respond in these moments will ultimately determine your success. When things get tough, Persistence requires you to hold on to your belief in your goals with an even stronger grip. It asks you to act from a place of inner knowing that success is not a matter of luck or circumstances, but a matter of inner strength, vision, and determination. Persistence in the face of adversity also involves developing a deep trust in your own abilities. It is easy to question yourself when things go wrong. Doubt creeps in, and the temptation to quit becomes overwhelming. But the persistent person understands that failure is not the end. It is merely a part of the journey. They understand that each setback is a lesson, each failure a stepping stone that brings them closer to their goal. They understand that persistence is not about avoiding failure, but about not allowing failure to define them. They keep moving forward, they keep learning, and they keep improving. This is the attitude that will eventually lead to success. True persistence is a combination of unwavering belief and consistent action. It's not enough to simply wish for something or hope that things will get better on their own. Persistence demands that you show up every day, take one step after another, and continue moving toward your goal with determination, even when the road is rough. You must be willing to make the necessary sacrifices, put in the hard work, and keep your focus on the long-term vision, rather than being swayed by the temporary obstacles in front of you. In the face of adversity, it is important to remember that persistence is not about forcing things to happen. It's about aligning yourself with your goals and moving forward with faith, trust, and patience. It's about showing up for yourself and your dreams, no matter what happens. Persistence is built through small, consistent actions, not through big, sudden bursts of energy. It is the small things done every day, the discipline to keep going, the patience to stay focused, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances that form the foundation of persistence. One of the greatest challenges in practicing persistence is managing the emotional roller coaster that often accompanies the pursuit of goals. The highs and lows can be disorienting, and it's easy to get discouraged when things aren't progressing as quickly as you'd like. However, persistence requires emotional resilience, the ability to stay steady and grounded even when emotions fluctuate. Emotions such as fear, frustration, and disappointment are all a part of the human experience, and they can be powerful barriers to continued progress. But the persistent individual does not let these emotions dictate their actions. Instead, they acknowledge them, understand them, and continue to move forward regardless. They understand that emotions are temporary, but their vision and goals are long-term. They refuse to let the temporary setbacks or the emotional turbulence stop them from achieving their dreams. The journey to success is often long and winding, and persistence is what helps you stay on the path. There will be times when you feel like giving up, times when it seems like the easier option is to throw in the towel and walk away. But the persistent person understands that the greatest rewards come not to those who give up at the first sign of difficulty, but to those who keep going, who show resilience and endurance through the challenges. They understand that success is not an event that happens overnight, but a process, a journey that requires patience, faith, and continual effort. It's also important to recognize that persistence is not about pushing through everything at all costs. It's about being flexible and adaptable, learning from mistakes, and adjusting your approach when necessary. True persistence does not involve stubbornly repeating the same actions over and over again if they are not producing results. Instead, it's about staying committed to the vision, but being open to new ways of achieving that vision. Sometimes the path you thought you would take is not the right one, and persistence requires the wisdom to change direction when needed without giving up on the ultimate goal. It's about staying resourceful and finding solutions even when things are not going as planned. Persistence also involves resilience in the face of rejection or criticism. Many people abandon their dreams because they fear judgment or failure. They fear what others might think or say about their pursuits. But persistence requires you to rise above the opinions of others and stay focused on your own truth. You must believe in your vision so deeply that the fear of rejection, criticism, or failure cannot shake you. You must have an inner resolve that no external forces can break. One of the most powerful aspects of persistence is its ability to inspire others. When people see you persevere, when they witness your determination to succeed, it encourages them to do the same. Your persistence becomes a beacon of hope and possibility for others. It shows them that no matter where they start or how difficult the journey may be, they too can achieve their dreams if they keep going. In this way, persistence not only shapes your life, but can also have a ripple effect on those around you, encouraging others to believe in themselves and their own abilities. The truth is, there are no shortcuts to success. There is no magic formula, no easy way out. The only way to achieve what you desire is to keep going, no matter what. When you act with persistence, when you make the commitment to never give up, you open the door to success. You begin to understand that success is not defined by the absence of failure, but by the ability to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and to keep your eye on the prize, even when it seems distant or out of reach. Persistence, combined with belief and action, is the driving force that will bring your dreams to life. And while the path may be long and filled with challenges, the reward of seeing your vision come to fruition makes every step worth it. The journey of maintaining unwavering focus on your goals, especially in times of difficulty or discouragement, requires more than just willpower. It demands clarity of purpose, a deep understanding of your vision, and the ability to remain grounded in the face of external distractions. To focus means to channel your energy, attention, and resources toward a singular outcome with a level of commitment that transcends fleeting circumstances. When you focus on your goal, you not only determine where your energy goes, but also shape the events and situations that align with your desires. Focus is the act of consistently placing your thoughts, actions, and emotions on your desired outcome. And this singular focus becomes the driving force that propels you forward. Life is full of distractions. We are bombarded by constant noise. From external factors like societal expectations, the opinions of others, and changing circumstances, to internal distractions like self-doubt, fear, and uncertainty. These distractions have the potential to derail us from our path, causing us to lose sight of the vision we set for ourselves. However, the persistent individual understands that focusing on a goal is not just about ignoring these distractions, but about choosing to engage with the thoughts and actions that bring them closer to their desired outcome. Focusing is an intentional act. It is a conscious choice to direct your energy, your time, and your actions toward what matters most. The challenge lies in staying focused, even when everything around you seems to be shifting or falling apart. There are times in life when progress feels slow or almost non-existent. You may put in the work, take all the right steps, and yet still not see the results you expect. During these times, it's easy to become disheartened, to start doubting your abilities or the possibility of your dreams. But staying focused means refusing to let these temporary setbacks cloud your vision. It means holding on to your belief in the outcome, even when you can't see immediate results. This is where the power of focus becomes evident. It is in those moments of frustration or doubt that focus becomes your greatest ally. It's the ability to see beyond the present circumstances and stay anchored in the truth of your vision that keeps you moving forward. At its core, focus is about emotional discipline. The mind is easily swayed by emotions. Fear, anger, disappointment, and frustration can hijack your thoughts, pulling your attention away from your goal and clouding your judgment. If left unchecked, these emotions can create a cycle of negative thinking that disrupts your progress. To maintain focus, you must learn how to manage your emotions and not allow them to dictate your actions. This does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine, but rather recognizing and acknowledging your emotions without letting them control your behavior. When you focus on your goal, you choose to prioritize your desires over transient emotions. Instead of getting caught up in fear or doubt, you remind yourself of your purpose and continue taking steps forward, even if they are small ones. Maintaining focus also requires an ongoing process of mental training. Our minds naturally gravitate toward what is most familiar or immediately gratifying. We may find ourselves distracted by what others are doing or by the constant pull of technology, entertainment, or social media. These distractions may offer temporary relief, but they do not align with our long-term desires. To maintain focus, you must train your mind to return to the task at hand, to filter out distractions, and to stay locked onto your desired outcome. One effective way to strengthen your focus is through mindfulness practices, meditation, or visualizations. These techniques help calm the mind, reduce mental clutter, and refocus your attention on what matters most. By practicing mindfulness, you can develop the ability to stay present with your goal, blocking out the noise that might otherwise pull your attention in multiple directions. Another key component of focus is the ability to break down larger goals into smaller, more manageable steps. Often, people lose focus because they are overwhelmed by the magnitude of their dreams. The vision of success can feel so far away that it becomes difficult to maintain a clear sense of direction. By breaking your goal down into smaller, actionable tasks, you not only make the process feel less daunting, but also create a roadmap for success. Each small step becomes a victory, and each victory brings you one step closer to your larger vision. When you focus on these smaller milestones, you stay engaged in the present moment, constantly reaffirming your commitment to your larger goal without getting lost in the future. Focus also involves the power of persistence, staying committed to your goal, even when you face obstacles or periods of discouragement. It's important to understand that achieving a big goal requires time, and along the way you will likely encounter moments when things don't go as planned. There will be setbacks, delays, and challenges that seem insurmountable. However, by maintaining focus, you refuse to let these challenges dictate your path. Instead, you view them as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. Your focus keeps you grounded in your purpose, reminding you that these obstacles are simply part of the journey, not the end of the road. With this mindset, you develop the resilience needed to push through difficult times, knowing that your unwavering focus is what will ultimately lead you to success. Discipline allows you to stay committed to your goal despite the natural fluctuations in motivation. Motivation can come and go. It's a fleeting feeling that may not always be present when you need it most. But discipline, unlike motivation, is a choice you make every day. It's the commitment to showing up, doing the work, and staying aligned with your vision, even when the initial excitement wears off. The key is to cultivate habits that support your focus, such as establishing a consistent routine or creating an environment that minimizes distractions. These habits become second nature over time, reinforcing your focus and ensuring that you remain on track. In a world filled with constant distractions and demands on our attention, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But by training yourself to focus, you regain control over your thoughts, emotions, and actions. You learn to filter out the noise, hone in on your goals, and direct your energy where it will have the greatest impact. The power of focus lies in its ability to align every aspect of your being, your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions toward the fulfillment of your desires. When you focus on your goal with unwavering determination, the universe begins to align with your vision, and you find the doors start to open, opportunities arise, and the resources you need appear at the right time. Focus also means having the ability to say no. Saying no to distractions, saying no to the things that do not serve your goal, and saying no to anything that pulls you away from your purpose. Saying no is not about shutting yourself off from the world, but about creating the space to say yes to what truly matters. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your mental resources so that you can dedicate them fully to your vision. Focus requires discernment, the ability to recognize what aligns with your goals and what doesn't, and to make the conscious choice to invest your attention wisely. Ultimately, focus is a combination of mental clarity, emotional discipline, consistent effort, and the ability to remain aligned with your vision regardless of external circumstances. It is the foundation upon which all success is built. When you focus on your goals with clarity and commitment, You unlock the potential within you to manifest your dreams and create the life you desire. By remaining focused, you don't just hope for success, you actively create it, step by step, moment by moment, with unwavering dedication and belief. Faith in your ability to achieve your desires and live out your goals is one of the most crucial elements to success. It's not just about believing that your desires are possible, but about embodying a deep, unshakable trust in your own power to create the life you want. This is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Faith is more than a passive belief. It is an active force that drives your thoughts, actions, and decisions. It fuels your persistence, strengthens your focus, and empowers you to overcome the inevitable obstacles that arise along the way. When you have faith in yourself and in your vision, you develop the courage to keep going even when the path ahead is unclear. The journey towards success is not always a straight line. There are moments when you may doubt your abilities, when the outcome seems uncertain, or when things seem to be going wrong. During these moments, it is faith that keeps you grounded and moving forward. It's not about waiting for everything to fall into place before you act. It's about trusting that every step you take, every effort you make, is leading you toward the fulfillment of your dreams. Faith is also about seeing beyond the current circumstances. It requires the ability to envision your desired future clearly and to remain aligned with that vision even when present reality doesn't reflect it. The present moment, no matter how challenging, is only temporary. Faith allows you to maintain a long-term perspective, one that isn't swayed by momentary difficulties or delays. It encourages you to stay focused on what is yet to come, to believe in the unseen potential that exists just beyond your current reality. When you act in faith, you don't allow yourself to be trapped by what is happening now, but instead, you stay anchored in the belief that what you desire is already on its way. This belief, however, does not mean that you sit back and wait for things to unfold on their own. Faith is not about passivity. It's about trusting the process while still taking action. Faith is the driving force that propels you to move forward, to take those small steps every day toward your goals. It's the trust that, even if you don't see immediate results, you are moving in the right direction. Faith doesn't always bring instant gratification, but it assures you that each step taken in alignment with your vision is moving you closer to your destination. It teaches you to remain patient, to trust that timing is a crucial part of the process, and that every moment holds the potential for growth and transformation. When you have faith, you begin to understand that challenges and setbacks are not signs that you are on the wrong path, but rather they are part of the unfolding of your journey. They are opportunities for growth, lessons in resilience, and stepping stones that bring you closer to your goal. Faith in the process allows you to view these obstacles not as failures, but as necessary elements of the path you are meant to walk. It allows you to adapt and adjust your approach without losing sight of your ultimate goal. Challenges do not deter you. They strengthen your resolve and deepen your belief that you will eventually succeed. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is its ability to transform your perspective. When you have faith, you view the world through the lens of possibility rather than limitation. You no longer see obstacles as insurmountable barriers, but as temporary conditions that can be overcome. This shift in mindset is transformative because it changes how you approach every aspect of your life. Instead of being paralyzed by fear or doubt, you become empowered to take action, to think creatively, and to problem solve in new ways. Faith gives you the courage to take risks and step outside of your comfort zone, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the ability to handle it. Having faith also means that you trust the timing of the universe. It is easy to become frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as you'd like, or when the path to your goals seems longer or more difficult than anticipated. However, faith teaches you that everything is unfolding in its own time. You understand that there is a divine timing at play, and that each step of the journey is preparing you for what's to come. This understanding takes the pressure off and allows you to enjoy the process rather than being consumed by the outcome. Faith allows you to trust that what is meant for you will come at the right time, and that you are exactly where you need to be in the present moment. Another important aspect of faith is the ability to believe in your own inner guidance. Everyone has an intuitive sense of direction, a quiet knowing that leads them toward their dreams. Faith means trusting this inner voice even when the logical mind may have doubts or when external circumstances seem uncertain. Your intuition is always guiding you toward your highest good, and faith is the ability to trust it fully. It encourages you to take action based on what feels right in your heart, even if you don't have all the answers or the perfect plan. Faith allows you to trust that the next step will reveal itself as you move forward, and that you are always being guided toward your ultimate purpose. Faith is also a powerful tool for overcoming fear. Fear often arises when you are about to step into the unknown, when you are faced with a decision that could bring you closer to your dreams or lead you into unfamiliar territory. The fear of failure, rejection, or not being good enough can stop you in your tracks. However, faith serves as the antidote to fear. It allows you to take the leap, to push past the boundaries of your comfort zone and to act despite the fear. When you have faith, you understand that fear is simply an emotion that will pass, but your dreams and your vision remain. Faith gives you the strength to move forward even when fear is present, knowing that you are more than capable of handling whatever challenges come your way. It's important to recognize that faith is not a one-time event. It is a continuous practice. Every day you have the opportunity to strengthen your faith through your thoughts, actions, and choices. It is a commitment to trust in yourself, in the process, and in the greater plan for your life. This practice of faith is what transforms dreams into reality. It is what turns goals into achievements. It is the foundation for all of your endeavors, and it keeps you grounded in your purpose no matter what external circumstances arise. To develop and strengthen your faith, it's helpful to cultivate a mindset of gratitude. Gratitude allows you to see the blessings in every moment, even in the midst of challenges. When you express gratitude for the small victories and the lessons along the way, you reinforce your faith that everything is working out for your highest good. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. And this shift in focus fuels your belief in the possibility of even greater things to come. Faith is a living, breathing force that grows and evolves with you. The more you trust in your own abilities and the unfolding of your journey, the more faith you have in the process. It becomes a cycle of belief and manifestation. As you act in faith, your faith grows stronger. And as your faith grows, the world begins to reflect that belief back to you in the form of opportunities, resources, and support. When you hold steadfast in your faith, you align with the flow of the universe, and the doors to your desires begin to open in ways that you could never have imagined. There is a power within you so complete, so vast, that it responds to the very tone and rhythm of your inner assumptions. It does not ask if what you believe is reasonable, practical, or even possible. It only reflects. It listens to the feeling behind your words, the emotion behind your thoughts, and it brings forth into form what you have accepted as true. To act as if you have the energy to attract everything is not mere pretending, it is the law in motion. It is creation in its purest, most direct expression. The moment you embody the state of already having, you shift your world. You do not wait to receive energy. You claim it now by the way you walk, breathe, and speak. You rise in the morning not as someone hoping to be magnetic, but as one who knows they already are. When you walk into a room, let it be known not by words, but by vibration that you carry a current so powerful, so certain that it pulls all things into alignment with your desire. You do not need to chase. You do not need to beg. What belongs to the state you occupy must come. That is the law. The state you dwell in determines the events of your life, and your assumption is the bridge. So begin now. Assume the energy is yours. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Even if your body feels tired, even if your circumstances scream otherwise, go inward and claim, I am the one who draws all things to me. I am charged, alive, radiant with power. Feel it. Breathe as though the air around you is responding to your every thought, rearranging people and opportunities in your favor. Live from the end. Do not visualize the outcome from afar. Step into the scene. Feel the texture of it. Hear the voices that would speak to you if your desire were already fulfilled. Walk through the day as the person who already possesses it all. Let your world mirror the internal shift. Energy is not something outside of you to gather. It is the expression of your state of consciousness. When you accept that you are magnetic, vibrant, and full of life, the world has no choice but to conform. Everything is drawn to you by the way you feel yourself to be. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for circumstances to justify your belief. Begin now within in silence and certainty. The outer world is but the echo of the inner world. And once you act as if the energy is yours, you awaken it. You ignite it. You become it. And from that state, all things are added unto you. Assume the energy is already yours. This is the beginning of true transformation. When you assume something, you are not merely thinking about it, you are claiming it as your current reality. You are stepping into a state of being that no longer wishes, no longer waits, but knows. To assume is to accept. And what you accept as true for yourself becomes the law by which your life unfolds. The moment you say, I have the energy, you are not lying to yourself. You are aligning with a deeper truth that already exists within the infinite field of possibilities. Energy is not something you acquire from the outside, it is something you awaken from within. You are not trying to convince the world that you are powerful, radiant, magnetic, you are convincing yourself. Because once you accept it internally, the outer world has no choice but to follow. When you wake up in the morning and your body feels heavy, when circumstances seem overwhelming, when your mind wants to spiral into limitation, that is the exact moment you must turn inward and choose a new assumption. You don't fight reality, you reshape it by how you perceive yourself. The tiredness is not the truth. The lack is not the truth. The truth is whatever you decide to accept, feel, and embody. You do not need physical proof to begin this inner work. You need only imagination and willingness. Imagination is the key to all things. When you imagine yourself full of energy, full of life, you're not engaging in fantasy, you're activating the blueprint of your ideal self. Every image you hold with feeling impresses upon your subconscious mind, and from that impression your reality is created. The world around you is simply a delayed reflection of the world within you. Many people wait to feel energized before they take action, before they move forward, before they decide to believe in themselves. But that is living from reaction, not creation. The one who understands this principle knows they do not wait, they become. They close their eyes, take a breath, and enter the state. Not someday, not when the conditions are right, but now. To assume the energy is already yours is to walk differently. It's to hold your head a little higher, to speak with more certainty, to carry yourself as someone who knows they are worthy of all they desire. Even if the body feels weak, even if the day looks bleak, you anchor yourself in the truth of your being. I am energy. I am power. I am radiant. And you say it not to trick the world, but to awaken the part of you that already knows it to be true. There is nothing outside of you that can give you what you do not claim for yourself. No person, no achievement, no affirmation will stick if you do not first assume the identity. The energy you're seeking is already coded into your consciousness. You are not becoming someone new, you are remembering who you really are. The tiredness was only a mask. The doubt was only a shadow. Underneath it all is the real you, and the real you is full of life. When you walk into a space, act as if the energy is flowing through you in waves. Act as if every cell in your body is vibrating at the frequency of success, joy, and vitality. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to explain it. You simply need to be it. Others will feel it. Life will respond. Opportunities will open not because you chased them, but because you became the version of yourself that naturally attracts them. This is not about pretending in the shallow sense. This is not about faking it. This is about entering the state so fully that you forget it was ever a choice. You don't act like you're energized, you are energized because you have decided so. And that decision, backed by feeling, becomes your dominant vibration. The inner world is always first. The outer world is the mirror. If you wait for the reflection to change, you will wait forever. But if you change the image you hold of yourself, if you assume the posture, the energy, the identity of the one who already has it, you speed up the reflection. You set reality into motion. You may not know how it will all unfold. You don't need to. The how is never your responsibility. Your only task is to live in the end, to move from the state, to carry the energy of completion. When you say, I have the energy to attract everything I want, and you mean it, feel it, and live from it, doors begin to open. Not because they were locked, but because you were no longer knocking as a beggar. You walk through them as the rightful owner. Each moment is a new opportunity to assume the energy. When doubt creeps in, return to the feeling. When fatigue tries to define your identity, remind yourself that you are not the body, you are the power that animates the body. You are the force behind the eyes. You are the breath behind the breath. You are pure consciousness, choosing this expression. And when you choose to embody energy, your whole life transforms to match that choice. Let your thoughts match the energy you desire. Let your words confirm it. Let your body language reflect it. The universe is not confused, it gives you what you assume to be true. So assume well, assume wisely. And above all, assume now. There is nothing you need to wait for. You are not preparing to be powerful. You are not trying to become magnetic. You are it. Now, always. And as you live from that truth, your reality has no choice but to rise and meet you. Feeling creates reality. This is not a poetic idea, nor is it a motivational phrase. It is a fundamental truth about the nature of existence. What you feel to be true, deep in your inner being, takes shape in the world around you. You are not waiting for the world to give you a reason to feel successful, loved, confident, or worthy. You are choosing to feel these things first. And by that inner choice, you give birth to experiences that match it. Most people live in a state of reaction. They wait to see the evidence before they allow themselves to feel the emotion. They believe that once the job comes, once the relationship arrives, once the health is restored, then they will feel peace, joy, fulfillment. But this is the reverse of the law. The outer world does not create the inner state. The inner state creates the outer world. When you wake up each day and decide to feel the reality of your desire, regardless of circumstances, you set into motion unseen forces. You tune your consciousness to a specific frequency, and that frequency draws matching events, people, and opportunities into your life. You do not need to figure out how. You do not need to control the path. You only need to feel your way into the state of already having. If you desire love, you must feel love not for someone or from someone, but as your own nature. You become the presence of love, and that presence becomes magnetic. If you want to be wealthy, you must feel the ease, the freedom, the gratitude of already being wealthy. Not someday, not eventually, but now, in your imagination, in your spirit, in your feeling. You may ask, how can I feel something I do not yet see? And the answer is simple, because feeling is not dependent on the external. You have felt fear in moments where there was no real threat. You have felt joy in memories and dreams that lived only in your mind. Feeling is not limited to what is visible. It is a tool, a bridge between the invisible and the seen. The world around you is the echo of yesterday's feelings. If you want to know what you've been feeling consistently, look around. Your environment, your experiences, your relationships, they are all shaped by what you have accepted emotionally. But you are not bound by the past. You can shift the entire trajectory of your life by choosing new feelings now. This is not about forcing positive emotion or denying what you're going through. It is about choosing your inner state deliberately. It is about becoming aware of what you've been radiating and deciding to shift your inner atmosphere to match what you truly desire. Because what you feel, you invite. What you feel, you communicate. What you feel, you manifest. Feeling is the language of creation. It speaks louder than words. You can affirm all day long that you are abundant. But if you feel lack, that is what you will continue to experience. You can visualize success, but if you feel fear and unworthiness, those feelings will outweigh the image. The key is to align the inner picture with the inner emotion, then creation becomes inevitable. So practice the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not as something in the distance, but as something that is already yours. If you knew it was coming, how would you feel? If it were here now, how would you walk, breathe, speak, think? Begin to embody that version of you today. Let your inner world reflect that state so clearly that the outer world must bend to match it. Do not be fooled by appearances. They are only the residue of old feelings. They do not define you, and they do not predict what comes next unless you keep reacting to them. Instead of reacting to what is, respond with what you prefer. Bring your awareness inward and ask yourself, what would it feel like if everything worked out for me? And then feel it not just in your head, but in your heart, in your breath, in your body. This is not imagination as escape. This is imagination as power. It is not about pretending. It is about choosing. Every great change begins with a shift in feeling. Revolutions, inventions, art, miracles, they all begin with someone feeling something greater than what they currently saw. Someone dared to feel the impossible as possible. Someone dared to enter a new state before the evidence appeared. And you can do the same. You can close your eyes right now and step into the scene of your ideal life. You can see it. You can hear it. But most importantly, you can feel it. You can make it real inside yourself. And as you do, you are no longer the same person. You are no longer living from limitation. You are no longer waiting. You are becoming. You are being. You must persist in that feeling not once, not twice, but until it becomes your new dwelling place. Until it becomes natural. Until you wake up and no longer wonder if your desire will manifest because you feel as if it already has. This is the state that creates. This is the vibration that pulls all things into form. There is no limit to what you can create, because there is no limit to what you can feel. You are not creating things, you are creating states, and the states bring the things. You are not chasing experiences, you are generating the inner atmosphere where those experiences are inevitable. So become familiar with the feelings of your ideal life. Make them your new home. When doubt arises, return to the feeling. When fear whispers, return to the feeling. Let nothing distract you from the truth that lives within. What you feel to be true is more powerful than what you see, and what you consistently feel will eventually become what you see. You are the center of your world. You are the cause of your experience, and your feelings are the signal you send out to life. Feel wealth and life brings you wealth. Feel joy and life mirrors it. Feel love and love finds you. It is simple. It is constant. And it is entirely in your hands. The question is never, can it happen? The question is, are you willing to feel it now? Because once you are, the universe begins its response. Not because you begged, not because you forced it, but because you entered the state of already having and feeling, as always made it real. To act as if you already possess the energy, the confidence, and the magnetism to attract everything you desire is to claim dominion over your reality. It is not make-believe. It is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are not waiting to become the person who has it all. You are stepping into that version of yourself now by assuming its posture, its energy, its presence, and its knowing. The world does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you are being. And you are always being someone. You are always embodying a state of consciousness. The question is that state in harmony with your desire or in contradiction to it? When you act as if you already have the energy to attract everything, you shift your identity. You stop begging, hoping, or waiting, and you begin to declare through your behavior, your words, your thoughts, and your feelings that it is already done. This is not about faking confidence. This is not about performance. It is about becoming internally aligned with what you want, as though it's already part of your world. Think about the person you desire to be, the one who effortlessly draws in abundance, opportunities, love, connection, peace. That person does not doubt their worth. That person does not shrink. That person does not hesitate. That person walks with a quiet confidence, a stillness in their chest, a grounded presence that speaks before they say a word. When you decide to act as that version of yourself, you begin to collapse the distance between who you are and what you desire. It begins with the subtle, a change in posture, a shift in how you enter a room, a quiet pause before you speak, a gentle refusal to chase or explain or overcompensate. These are not small things. These are energetic declarations. They send signals into the unseen realm that you no longer identify as the version of yourself who is lacking, who is overlooked, who is not enough. You are becoming the one who already has. When you act as if you have the energy to attract everything, you are no longer asking for permission to shine. You no longer apologize for your presence. You stop deferring to the old story of not being ready, not being chosen, not being worthy. That story may have been familiar, but it was never true. The moment you act differently, feel differently, you begin writing a new chapter. This is not about pretending to be someone else. It's about returning to the truth of who you already are beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and conditioning. You are not manufacturing power, you are revealing it. The energy you seek to project is not something you must go out and collect. It is within you, waiting for you to unlock it through the simple decision to act from it now. It is not your circumstances that give you confidence. It is confidence that reshapes your circumstances. When you carry yourself as someone who knows their worth, you begin to change what you allow, what you tolerate, what you attract. People respond to your vibration. They sense when you are grounded in your truth, and they sense when you are seeking validation. One attracts, the other repels. You do not have to feel 100% ready to begin. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a choice. You begin by choosing to carry yourself with the certainty that your desires are already set in motion. You may still feel nervous. You may still hear the old voices of self-doubt. But you don't listen to them anymore. You recognize them as echoes of a former identity, and you walk past them as the version of yourself that already knows who you are. You become magnetic when you no longer chase. You become irresistible when you no longer try to prove. You become powerful when you stop looking outward for confirmation and begin to live from the inner knowing that it is already yours. This is what it means to act as if. Not with effort, not with force, but with trust, with presence, with deliberate embodiment. You do not need to wait for the outside world to agree with your inner state. It will catch up. It must. That is the law. The inner creates the outer. So if you walk, talk, think, and live as the version of you who already has the energy to attract everything you desire, then that version of you begins to take root in this dimension. And with it, the circumstances, people, and experiences align with it. This is not delusion. This is creation. You are not pretending to be rich, successful, loved, or radiant. You are living in alignment with the feeling of already being those things. And by doing so, you become them. Not over time, not someday, but in this moment, right now, in your consciousness. And your outer world will echo it. When you act as if, you walk through life as someone who already knows their future is secure. You stop explaining your vision to those who cannot see it. You stop giving energy to doubt. You stop needing reassurance. Instead, you become the reassurance. You become the signal of clarity, of vision, of intention. And that energy is what makes mountains move. There is no force stronger than a soul who knows they are already in possession of what they seek. You are not trying to be that person. You are remembering that you already are. You are dropping the disguise of limitation. You are releasing the mask of insecurity. And you are reclaiming the posture of someone who understands that they were never without power to begin with. When you act as if, the universe responds. It listens not to your words but to your tone, not to your declarations. but to your state of being. And when that state of being says that is already mine, then reality begins to conform itself to match your certainty. So do not wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. Do not wait to be ready. Move as if you already are. Do not wait for signs. Be the sign. The energy is not out there, it is in you. The world is not holding you back, it is waiting on your signal. And when that signal becomes the vibration of inner wholeness, everything that belongs to you begins its journey home. To believe in the presence of unseen forces working in your favor is to understand that reality is far more than what your senses can detect. The material world, the visible, is only the outer crust of something deeper, more fluid, more responsive. Everything begins in the invisible. Every form, every circumstance, every opportunity you encounter was once an idea, an image, a vibration. When you truly accept this, you stop worshipping appearances and start living from the unseen realm of imagination and feeling. You are not bound by what your eyes see or what others have told you is possible. Those are limitations of the senses, not of spirit. The secret is to live from the invisible reality as though it were already the only reality. When you move through the world, knowing that unseen energies are already arranging, assembling, coordinating everything on your behalf, you release the need to control. You relax into certainty, you step out of effort and into faith, not blind faith, but conscious creation. You know something greater is operating through you and for you. This unseen power is intelligent. It is not random. It responds to you, your dominant assumptions, your expectations, your emotional tone. You may not always see the results instantly, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Just as a seed beneath the soil appears inactive before the sprout breaks through the ground, so too does your inner world incubate what will become your outer experience. The delay is not denial. The silence is not absence. It is preparation. It is unfolding. And your job is to remain faithful to what you've declared, no matter what the world seems to say. So many people begin to assume something wonderful, then glance around at their environment and feel disappointed when nothing appears to change. They return to doubt. They begin to question. And in that moment, they undo the very thing they've begun. But when you act as if the energy of your desire is already working for you, you do not allow appearances to dictate your belief. You stay in the knowing. You assume the feeling. You rest in the confidence that what you cannot see is even more powerful than what you can. This is how the invisible becomes visible. Not by force, not by wishing, not by struggle, but by alignment. The invisible responds to the energy you emit. If you radiate doubt, fear, desperation, it will reflect back circumstances that match. If you emit trust, gratitude, confidence, and inner peace, it responds with harmony, synchronicities, and doors you didn't even know existed. You don't need to figure out how. That is not your role. The how belongs to the unseen. Your role is to live in the state of already having, to assume the frequency of fulfillment, to dwell in the vibration of what is done. Even when nothing appears to change, something is changing. Energy is shifting. Patterns are rearranging. Old beliefs are dissolving. People are being moved. Circumstances are being shaped, and it all happens in ways you could never predict. That is the beauty of trusting the unseen. You release the limits of logic and allow the infinite to surprise you. Living from this awareness requires a new kind of discipline, not discipline of effort, but discipline of assumption. You must train yourself to dwell in the invisible more than the visible, to feel the reality of your desires even when no evidence exists yet. That is true mastery. That is the path of the Creator, the one who walks by inner knowing, not by outer proof. This is not about ignoring the physical world, it is about understanding its place. The physical world is the echo, not the cause. It is the effect, not the source. And if you try to rearrange the echo without changing the cause, you stay stuck in the loop of repetition. But when you go to the source, to the unseen, and operate from there with authority and clarity, the echo naturally changes. You don't chase results, you change the signal, and the results follow. The unseen forces do not need time in the way you think they do. Time is a concept of the physical. In the realm of spirit, things move according to intensity, not duration. A single moment of true alignment, of deep feeling, of unshakable belief can accomplish more than years of hoping and struggling. When you truly feel it, truly believe it, truly embody it, the unseen begins to mirror you in ways beyond logic. And yet, to the mind that needs to see to believe, this can be difficult. But you are not here to live according to the mind alone. You are here to remember that you are more than a body, more than a name, more than a set of circumstances. You are consciousness. You are awareness itself. And your awareness shapes your world. When your awareness becomes saturated with the energy of trust, of inner havingness, of certainty, the outer world begins to reflect it in uncanny, undeniable ways. This is how miracles happen. Not because you pleaded for them, but because you aligned with the frequency of the miraculous. The unseen is not moved by desperation, it is moved by embodiment. It listens to the version of you who acts from the end, who walks through life as if everything is already aligned, who lets go of worry because they know everything is already handled. You are always supported, even when you feel alone, even when the world looks quiet, even when there is no visible sign. The current is moving beneath the surface. Do not doubt the process just because you can't yet see the result. Feel it, trust it, know it, and continue to act from the energy of fulfillment. The unseen is not a distant concept. It is not outside of you. It is your own awareness extending into the fabric of reality and drawing in everything that matches your inner state. So the real work is not on the outside. The real work is within. Not fixing yourself, but realizing that you are already whole. Not earning anything, but recognizing that it is already given. You simply match the gift through the frequency of receiving. And you do that by trusting the unseen more than the seen. The more you practice this, the more you'll witness the world begin to shape itself around your inner convictions. People will shift. Opportunities will arise. Paths will clear. You'll begin to say, I don't know how it happened, but everything just aligned. And that is the language of the unseen, effortless, precise, perfect. Not because you forced it, but because you remember that you didn't have to. What you desire is not far from you. It is not waiting in some future. It is present now in the unseen. And it is your willingness to believe, to embody, to act from the energy of presence that allows it to materialize. There is no distance between you and what you seek, except the story you tell. The moment you stop waiting and start knowing, the unseen responds in kind. And the moment you stop needing to see it first, it begins to appear. Most people move through life waiting for something to happen before they allow themselves to feel different. They wait for the money to appear before they feel abundant. They wait for love to arrive before they feel worthy. They wait for external recognition before they believe they are valuable. But this approach keeps them bound to the visible world, trapped in a loop of reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. To live as a conscious creator is to reverse that order completely. You feel it first and then it appears. You become it internally and then the world mirrors it. You assume the energy before the evidence. You are not waiting on the world. The world is waiting on you. It's waiting on your conviction, on your inner movement, on your decision to feel as if it's already done. The moment you stop waiting and begin embodying the end result in your mind, in your body, in your emotional field, the game changes. You're no longer asking, when will it happen? Instead, you move through life as if it already has. And that shift in energy is magnetic. It pulls the unseen toward you in ways the logical mind could never predict. To hold the energy of the result before it arrives is to walk in creative dominion. It is to act from the unseen, to trust in the invisible power that governs all manifestation. You are not pretending, you are aligning. There is a difference. Pretending is hollow. It comes from a place of lack, trying to cover emptiness with imagination. Alignment, however, is true inner knowing. It is the quiet certainty that you are already what you desire to be and the world is simply catching up to your inner state. Most people think they need evidence to believe. But belief does not require proof. Belief is the proof. It is the unseen force that bends reality to match its tone. When you choose to feel what you would feel if the thing were already yours, you're not tricking the universe. You're aligning with it, you're stepping into the only place where change is real, the now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because now is where your power lies. And when you fill this moment with the feeling of fulfillment, the world responds. What you feel dominantly, you attract. Not because the world is punishing or rewarding, but because it is reflective. It cannot give you what you don't first give yourself in feeling. It does not discriminate, it only reflects. So if you walk around feeling like it's already done, acting from that energy, thinking from that end, speaking from that, knowing, the world begins to shape itself to match that frequency. And the more you live in that state, the less you seek confirmation, because your confirmation becomes internal. You are not waiting for a breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. You are the shift. And that shift begins the moment you decide to embody the state of the person who already has it. Not someday. Now, if you were already who you wanted to be, how would you walk? How would you speak? What would you allow? What would you release? How would your posture change? How would your conversations shift? Start living from those answers now, not as performance, but as permission. You are not waiting for life to validate you, you are validating yourself through the energy you hold. This is not about faking anything. It's about waking up to the truth that you are already enough to feel what you want to feel. You don't need to delay your joy, your confidence, your sense of power. You can tap into it right now, because those states are not given to you by life, they are expressed through you to life. You are the source. You are the origin. And when you stop needing reality to change first, reality begins to change fast. People often ask, how can I feel wealthy when I have no money? Or how can I feel loved when I'm alone? The answer is simple but profound. You must feel from the end, not toward the end. You must bypass the mind that measures and compares and calculates, and instead go straight to the emotional truth of the outcome. Money doesn't bring the feeling of abundance. Abundance brings the money. Love doesn't create worthiness. Worthiness attracts the love. Everything you desire is already available in the form of a state. And the moment you move into that state, you begin to draw matching experiences into your world. You cannot fool the energetic mirror of life. If you say one thing but feel another, life reflects what you feel. If you affirm success but walk around expecting failure, life responds to your expectation, not your words. The energy you emit is the prayer that is always heard. And when you decide to live in the frequency of the wish fulfilled, without needing to seek proof, you accelerate the arrival of everything you've imagined. You may not know how things will unfold. You may not see the path. But when you live from the end, you don't need to. The version of you who has already received doesn't ask for a blueprint. They move with the confidence that all is well, that all is happening, that the way is being made even if they don't yet see it. And in that surrender, in that faith, in that embodiment, doors open. Conversations align. People show up. Resources appear. Life begins to echo your internal song. This is not about controlling outcomes. It's about assuming the identity that naturally experiences those outcomes. When you become the person who already has, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you command through your being. You don't wish, you know. And that knowing, even in the absence of evidence, is the most powerful force you can hold. Because everything in this universe is moved not by effort, but by vibration. So if you want to receive, be the receiver. Feel the receiving. Live in the receiving. Act as if you are already in possession. The person who has it doesn't question it, doesn't analyze it, doesn't doubt it. They live from it. And when you begin to do the same, not just occasionally, but consistently, you tap into a current that pulls all things to you with ease. Your energy is your access. Your state is your signal. And when that signal is consistent with the result you desire, the result cannot help but appear. Not by magic, but by law. The law of reflection. The law of vibration. The law of assumption. And this is not theoretical, it is practical. Test it, live it, feel it, and watch as the world moment by moment begins to rearrange itself to mirror your internal certainty. There is no power greater than the one who already is, not becoming, not hoping, already is. And you get there not by striving but by feeling, not by effort but by identity. So assume the feeling, wear the energy, breathe from the outcome, walk from the end, and let the world catch up to your decision. You are not defined by what happened. You are not trapped by a chapter that felt like failure. You are the author, the dreamer, the one with the pen in hand. The moment you decide that failure is not your final chapter, you step into a higher awareness. You begin to live from the end, not the end of defeat, but the end of triumph. Imagination is the only reality. What you accept as true within yourself becomes the world outside of you. So if you persist in the feeling that failure has written your last sentence, then so it shall be. But if you rise in consciousness and act as if success, healing, and peace are already yours, the world has no choice but to conform. Do not wait for the outer world to tell you who you are. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Act as if you've already won. Walk as though the chains have fallen off. Speak as though the victory is already echoing in your ears. The law does not fail. What you feel to be true in your imagination with consistency and faith will harden into fact. You may have been told you're not good enough. You may have fallen, been ridiculed, or forgotten. But none of that has the power to end your story unless you give it power. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the operant power. You are the dreamer of dreams, and the moment you awaken to that truth, you begin to rewrite what the world calls failure. Live from the state of having already become. Let your inner conversations reflect your success. Let your assumptions reflect the new story. Do not seek proof, be the proof. Do not ask how, just be. You don't need permission to begin again. You only need the boldness to assume the feeling of the new scene and to live in it mentally, even when the outer world shows no signs. Everything you experience externally is only a reflection of the internal state you accept as real. If you want to see a new outcome, you must occupy a new state. If you wish to break free from the identity of failure, then do not revisit it in thought. Leave it behind like an old garment and clothe yourself in the feeling of success. Your outer world is not your judge, it is your shadow. It moves only when you move within. If you are willing to feel the new reality before it shows itself, if you are willing to walk with confidence before the applause begins, then the applause will come. It must. Because the law is sure, and the imagination is divine. You are not broken, you are not stuck, you are not finished. You are becoming. You are unfolding. The moment you act as if failure never had the final word, you speak a new word into existence. You rise into a new state, and from that state the world around you must obey. Imagination is the greatest gift you possess. It is the tool that allows you to create, to shape your future, and to transform your present reality. Most people are unaware of just how powerful their imagination is. They spend their days reacting to the circumstances around them, accepting what they see, and letting those external circumstances dictate their feelings and beliefs. However, the moment you realize that imagination is the true force behind everything you experience, you begin to understand how you can use it to transform your life. You are not a passive participant in your own life, you are the creator. Your imagination is the medium through which you can mold your experiences and influence the world around you. When you truly accept that your inner world creates your outer world, you realize that what you are experiencing right now is the result of what you have imagined and assumed to be true in the past. But the beauty of this understanding is that you are not trapped by past imaginations. You have the power to change the direction of your life in any moment by changing the images, assumptions, and beliefs you hold in your mind. Your imagination is not just a fleeting fantasy or a simple daydream. It is the very foundation of creation. Every single thing you see in the world today, every building, every invention, every relationship was once a thought in someone's mind. It began as an image, a feeling, an idea. This idea, this mental image, was then impressed upon the subconscious mind, which brought it into reality. Just like the world outside of you, your inner world, your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions creates the circumstances, people, and events that show up in your life. This concept is profound because it shifts the power away from external circumstances and places it firmly in your hands. If you find yourself in a situation you don't like, you don't have to rely on the outside world to change in order to feel better. You don't have to wait for others to act differently or for circumstances to line up perfectly. Instead, you can change the way you think about the situation, and through that change, you can change your experience of it. The first step in using imagination effectively is to realize that you are always imagining something. You are constantly creating mental images, whether you are consciously aware of them or not. Most people imagine negative outcomes or focus on past failures, and that is why they continue to experience similar situations over and over again. Their imagination is working against them. It's not that they are incapable of imagining success or joy. It's that they have been conditioned to focus on the negative patterns, the fears, and the limitations. To change your life, you must first change the images you hold in your mind. If you can imagine yourself succeeding, if you can imagine yourself overcoming challenges, if you can picture a life of abundance and happiness, then you are setting into motion the forces that will bring those things into your life. The more vividly and consistently you imagine these positive outcomes, the more real they become to you. Your imagination will start to feel like a tangible reality, and your subconscious mind will begin to take those images seriously. The power of imagination is not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about feeling the reality of your desires in the present moment. It's about living in the state of having already achieved what you desire. If you can feel the emotions of success, joy, or peace while you imagine your desired outcome, you are aligning yourself with that reality. The emotional energy you generate during this imaginative process is what fuels the creation of that reality. The stronger the feeling, the quicker and more powerful the manifestation. It is important to remember that imagination does not work through force. You do not need to try to make things happen. Instead, it's about aligning yourself with the frequency of what you desire. You can imagine your success in a relaxed, joyful, and confident state, allowing the feeling of already having what you want to saturate your being. In this state of feeling, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match your inner world. Opportunities, people, and events start to appear, all designed to bring your imagined reality into the physical world. One of the key aspects of imagination is persistence. Often people will imagine a positive outcome once or twice and then give up when they don't see immediate results. This is where many people go wrong. The imagination is not something you simply use and discard. It is a tool that requires consistent application. Just as you would practice a skill or a habit, you must practice living in your imagined reality. The more you persist in imagining success, the more it will begin to feel natural to you. Your subconscious mind will begin to accept it as truth, and soon your outer world will reflect the changes you've made in your inner world. However, it's important to be patient and trust the process. Your imagination is a powerful tool, but it works in its own time. Just like planting a seed, you cannot rush the growth process. If you plant a seed in the ground, you cannot force it to grow overnight. But if you water it consistently and allow it to grow at its own pace, it will eventually sprout and flourish. Similarly, the images you plant in your mind may take time to manifest. But if you continue to nurture them with belief and patience, they will grow into your reality. Another key aspect of imagination is the understanding that what you imagine does not need to make logical sense. Many people feel limited by what they believe is possible, based on past experiences or the rules of the world. But when you embrace imagination as the creator of reality, you free yourself from those limitations. Imagination transcends logic and reason. It operates in the realm of the possible and the impossible, the known and the unknown. You can imagine yourself doing things that seem far beyond your current capabilities, and through the power of imagination, you will begin to develop the skills, confidence, and opportunities needed to bring those imagined experiences into the world. Imagination is not a passive activity. It is a dynamic, creative force that works in harmony with the subconscious mind. The more you align your conscious thoughts with the feelings and images of your desired reality, the more quickly your world will shift to reflect those desires. Your imagination has the power to reshape your circumstances, to rewrite your story, and to bring about the life you desire. All you have to do is choose to use it, to create consciously, and to believe in the power of your inner world to create the outer world. Living from the end is a concept that transcends conventional thinking and invites you to step into the fullness of who you truly are. It is not about waiting for external circumstances to change or for life to show you a new path. Rather, it is about mentally and emotionally inhabiting the end result of your desires right now. It requires you to consciously live as though the outcome you wish for has already been realized, even before it manifests in the physical world. This shift in perspective is one of the most powerful ways to create the life you desire. When you live from the end, you are no longer a passive observer of your reality. Instead, you are the creator, living from the state of already having what you want. You cease to be reactive to the world around you, and instead you begin to lead with your inner vision. This is not an act of denial or wishful thinking. It is a state of alignment, where you accept the desired outcome as already being true. It is about cultivating the feeling of already having your desire, not as a distant goal, but as a present reality. At its core, living from the end is about shifting your focus from the process to the finished result. Most people are accustomed to thinking in terms of I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or when I meet the right person, or when I achieve my goal. This thinking implies that happiness, success, or peace are things that exist outside of you, dependent on future circumstances. However, living from the end is an invitation to reverse this way of thinking and embrace the idea that everything you seek is already yours, if you can only imagine it. This approach begins by deciding that the end result is already a fact, and from that decision, you start to embody that reality in your thoughts, emotions, and actions. If your desire is to have financial abundance, for example, you do not wait for a certain amount of money to appear before feeling abundant. Instead, you feel abundant now, regardless of the state of your bank account. You begin to act as if you already have the wealth, comfort, and security that you desire. You think, speak, and behave in ways that reflect the state of abundance you wish to live in. The power of this process lies in your ability to convince your mind and your emotions that the desired outcome is not something that will happen in the future, but something that is happening right now. The more you can live from that state, the more your subconscious mind accepts this as truth, and it begins to guide your actions, decisions, and interactions to align with that reality. It is important to remember that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. When you consistently live in the state of having already achieved your goal, your subconscious mind starts to bring about circumstances and opportunities that match the state of your assumption. Living from the end requires a deep trust in the process of creation. It is about surrendering to the belief that the universe or life has already responded to your desire, even if you cannot yet see evidence of it. It asks you to be patient, persistent, and unwavering in your confidence that your mental and emotional state is already shaping your outer world. As you continue to live from the end, your external circumstances inevitably shift to reflect your inner state. This is not a matter of magic, but of the law of cause and effect, the law that dictates that what you feel and believe within will ultimately express itself outwardly. It is also important to understand that living from the end is not about forcing things to happen or taking action from a place of lack. This can often be a common misunderstanding where people think that they need to work tirelessly, push, and strive in order to manifest their desires. In reality, when you live from the end, you act from a place of inner fulfillment. Your actions are inspired, not forced. You take steps toward your goal because you feel it is natural to do so, not because you are trying to make it happen. This subtle shift in energy is crucial. It allows you to work in harmony with the flow of life, rather than battling against it. The essence of living from the end is not just about thinking positively or using visualization techniques. It is about embodying the emotional experience of having your desire now. It is about feeling the joy, peace, or satisfaction of already achieving what you want. When you can generate the emotional experience of your desired outcome in your present reality, you align your frequency with that of your desire, and the universe begins to respond. Emotional energy is a powerful force. Your feelings create a magnetic pull, drawing to you the circumstances, people, and opportunities that match the vibration you are emitting. This process also involves letting go of attachment to the how and when. Too often people get caught up in trying to figure out how their desires will manifest or when they will see results. This focus on the how can create resistance and doubt, which blocks the flow of energy. Living from the end means trusting that the how will reveal itself as you continue to live in the state of your desire. The path will unfold naturally and you will be guided to the next steps. The key is to remain aligned with your end result and to trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if you can't yet see the full picture. An important part of living from the end is the understanding that everything is connected. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are interwoven, and they collectively create your reality. If you can hold the mental image of your end result while feeling the emotions of success, gratitude, or satisfaction, you are strengthening your connection to that reality. You are harmonizing your inner world with the world you wish to experience. This is a powerful process because when you truly live from the end, the world around you starts to mirror the inner changes you have made. Living from the end is an act of faith. It requires you to believe in the unseen, to trust that what you are imagining and feeling is already on its way. This faith is not based on logic or evidence, but on the knowing that you are the creator of reality and that the universe is always responding to the vibrations you are sending out. It asks you to believe in the unseen, to live as though the best version of your life is already unfolding, and to be confident that your desires are already on their way to you. Living from the end is not a passive waiting game. It is an active, creative process that requires you to step fully into the reality you desire. By shifting your focus from what you don't have to what you already possess in your inner world, you begin to align yourself with the infinite possibilities that exist for you. When you live from the end, you realize that you are not waiting for life to give you something. You are actively creating your life from the inside out, and everything you desire is already yours, ready to unfold. The idea that you are the operant power is a powerful realization that places you at the center of your own experience. It means understanding that you are not simply a passive observer of life, but the very force that shapes your reality. You are not a victim of circumstance or a puppet of external conditions. You are the creator, and every aspect of your life is a reflection of the inner world you cultivate. When you accept that you are the operant power, you recognize that your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions actively influence and mold the world you experience. The concept of being the operant power is rooted in the understanding that reality is not something that happens to you, but rather something you create through your thoughts and beliefs. This means that everything in your life, whether it's your relationships, your career, your finances, or your emotional state, is a direct result of your inner world. The external world is a mirror reflecting back the beliefs, emotions, and assumptions you hold within you. When you fully accept this, you realize that your power to change your life lies not in trying to change the world around you, but in changing your inner state. The first step in becoming the operant power is to take full responsibility for your life. This means acknowledging that you are the one who has created the circumstances you find yourself in, whether those circumstances are positive or negative. It is easy to blame external factors, other people, the economy, or even fate for the way things are. But this kind of thinking keeps you stuck in a position of powerlessness. When you accept that you are the one who has shaped your reality through your beliefs, you empower yourself to change it. By recognizing that you are the operant power, you no longer need to wait for someone or something else to change before you can feel better or achieve your goals. The moment you take full responsibility for your reality, you realize that the power to change anything is already within you. This understanding shifts your mindset from being a victim of circumstance to being a master of your own fate. You stop waiting for things to happen, and begin to actively create the outcomes you desire. Rather than allowing life to dictate your emotions and experiences, you decide how you want to feel and what you want to experience. Your thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs are the seeds you plant in your mind, and the harvest of those seeds is the reality you experience. Therefore, if you want to change your life, you must begin by changing the seeds you are planting in your mind. The idea that you are the operant power also means recognizing the immense influence of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious is constantly absorbing impressions from the world around you, and it takes those impressions as truth. Whatever you believe to be true, whether it is about yourself, your circumstances, or your future, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that success is difficult to achieve, or that you are not worthy of love, or that you will always struggle financially, your subconscious mind accepts these beliefs and works to make them your reality. On the other hand, if you choose to believe in your own worth, your ability to succeed, and the abundance of opportunities available to you, your subconscious mind will start to work in alignment with these beliefs, bringing your desires into physical form. The key to becoming the operant power is to consciously direct the focus of your thoughts and beliefs. You must decide what you want to believe about yourself and the world, and then persist in that belief, even in the face of contradictory evidence. This is where most people get stuck. They make an assumption, but when they don't see immediate results, they revert to old beliefs or give up altogether. However, to truly become the operant power, you must have unwavering faith in your ability to create. When you persist in believing what you want to believe, despite appearances or external circumstances, you are aligning your thoughts and emotions with your desired reality. Your subconscious mind takes that persistent belief and begins to work tirelessly to bring it to fruition. Being the operant power also means recognizing that everything around you is a reflection of your inner state. If you are constantly frustrated with your job, for example, or feel stuck in a relationship, it is a sign that your beliefs about work or relationships need to be addressed. You might believe that you are stuck, that there are no good opportunities, or that you don't deserve better. These beliefs, though often subconscious, are shaping the experiences you are having. To change the situation, you must first change the belief. By shifting your inner state, you change your external circumstances. This concept is not just limited to your personal life, it extends to every area of experience. If you find yourself surrounded by negative people or situations, it is because you are internally resonating with negativity. The people and circumstances in your life are simply reflecting back the energy you are emitting. To change your external world, you must first change the energy you are sending out. When you shift your internal state to one of love, gratitude, confidence, and abundance, the world around you will begin to mirror that state. The people who once brought negativity into your life will either change or they will fall away, making room for new experiences and relationships that align with your elevated state of being. Another important aspect of being the operant power is understanding that your imagination plays a crucial role in creating your reality. The images, thoughts, and mental pictures you hold in your mind are powerful forces that shape your experience. If you can imagine the life you want with the same clarity and emotional intensity as if it were already happening, you are impressing those images onto your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, in turn, will begin to attract the circumstances, people, and events that align with those images. This is why visualization is such a powerful tool in manifesting your desires. When you vividly imagine your desired outcome, feel the emotions associated with it, and mentally experience it as if it were happening right now, you activate the creative forces within you to bring it into physical form. As the operant power, you are also in charge of your emotional state. Your emotions are the key indicators of what you are creating. If you are feeling frustrated, fearful, or anxious, it is a sign that your thoughts and beliefs are misaligned with what you truly desire. Your emotions act as a barometer, showing you whether you are in harmony with your desires or whether you are blocking them. By choosing to focus on thoughts that make you feel good, thoughts of gratitude, joy, and love, you raise your vibration and align yourself with the energy of abundance and success. This emotional shift is what allows you to become the operant power as it sets into motion the creative forces that will bring your desires into being. The realization that you are the operant power is both liberating and empowering. It means that you are no longer a passive participant in your life, but the active creator of your reality. Every thought, belief, and assumption you hold is shaping the world around you. When you take responsibility for your life and consciously choose the beliefs and emotions you want to experience, you activate the creative forces that will bring your desires into form. By understanding that you are the operant power, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities and begin to experience the world in a way that is in alignment with your deepest desires. When you truly grasp the concept of acting as if failure is not your final chapter, you unlock a powerful tool for personal transformation. To act as if failure is not the end of your story is to understand that any setback, challenge, or disappointment is not an indicator of your final potential, but merely a part of the journey. This shift in mindset is transformative because it opens up new possibilities and helps you to build resilience, strength, and confidence. Failure in this context is not a permanent state, but a temporary event that does not define your life or your ability to achieve greatness. At its core, acting as if failure is not the final chapter involves redefining what failure truly is. Many people view failure as a definitive and irreversible mark against their potential, a label that they carry with them for the rest of their lives. However, this perception of failure as an endpoint creates fear and hesitation, making it harder for individuals to take risks or pursue their dreams. If failure is seen as a dead end, then taking bold actions or stepping out of one's comfort zone becomes increasingly difficult, as people subconsciously avoid situations where they might face failure. In contrast, when failure is seen for what it truly is, a stepping stone on the path to success, it becomes an integral part of growth and evolution. To act as if failure is not the final chapter, you must first shift your understanding of failure. It is not something to avoid at all costs, but something to embrace as a valuable learning experience. Every failure brings with it a lesson, an opportunity for you to refine your approach, to increase your resilience, and to better understand the path that is uniquely yours. Failure teaches you what works and what doesn't, and it shows you areas where you can grow. This mindset allows you to see failure not as an obstacle, but as a tool, one that can guide you forward rather than hold you back. When you act as if failure is not the final chapter, you do not allow temporary setbacks to define your identity. Many individuals mistakenly tie their sense of worth and self-esteem to their successes and failures. If they achieve something, they feel good about themselves. If they feel inadequate or ashamed. This mindset creates an unstable foundation for self-worth. You must understand that your value as a person is not contingent on your performance, whether you succeed or fail. Your worth is intrinsic, and it does not fluctuate with external circumstances. This realization frees you from the pressure of having to be perfect or to avoid failure at all costs. Once you detach your sense of self-worth from failure, you become more resilient. You are able to take risks, try new things, and challenge yourself without the constant fear of failure. You are more willing to put yourself out there, knowing that even if things do not go as planned, it does not diminish your value or ability. Failure no longer holds the power to stop you in your tracks, because you understand that it is just one part of a much larger story. Instead of letting failure dictate your future, you use it as an opportunity to pivot, learn, and try again. You do not let setbacks define your journey, you let them inform and refine it. Moreover, when you act as if failure is not your final chapter, you begin to cultivate an attitude of persistence. Success is rarely immediate, and those who achieve great things often do so by persevering through multiple failures and setbacks. The most successful people in history, from inventors like Thomas Edison to athletes like Michael Jordan, faced failure after failure before they succeeded. It is their ability to keep going in the face of failure that sets them apart. They act as if failure is not the end because they understand that every failure brings them closer to success. Persistence is a mindset. It is the refusal to let failure or setbacks dictate the course of your life. Instead of viewing obstacles as reasons to quit, you begin to see them as challenges to overcome, as opportunities to grow stronger. You develop the belief that no matter how many times you fall, you can rise again. This attitude of resilience is key to building long-term success. When you act as if failure is not the final chapter, you cultivate a sense of grit and determination that propels you forward, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Furthermore, to act as if failure is not the final chapter is to embrace the unknown and trust in the process of growth. Too often people get discouraged because they cannot see the end result or predict the outcome. The unknown can feel daunting, and the fear of failure can make it even more intimidating. But when you act as if failure is not the final chapter, you release the need for certainty. You trust that the path you are on will lead you to where you need to be, even if the journey is winding and unpredictable. You understand that every step, even those that feel like failures, is leading you toward your goal. This trust in the process helps to ease anxiety and self-doubt. When you stop trying to control every detail of the outcome and instead focus on the process, you open yourself up to new possibilities and solutions that you may not have seen before. Acting as if failure is not the final chapter allows you to take each moment as it comes, without being overwhelmed by the fear of what might go wrong. You become more open to opportunities and willing to explore paths that you may have previously avoided out of fear of failure. One of the most powerful aspects of acting as if failure is not your final chapter is that it allows you to stay focused on your vision. When you are driven by a strong sense of purpose and a clear vision for your life, failures become less significant in the grand scheme of things. You see them as temporary obstacles that do not derail your ultimate mission. A clear vision helps you to stay motivated even when things get tough, because you are connected to something greater than the momentary disappointment of a setback. Your vision serves as a beacon, guiding you through the challenges you face. It reminds you that your purpose is far bigger than any failure. With a strong vision, you can keep moving forward, knowing that the obstacles you face today are part of the larger story of your success. You begin to see failure not as an end, but as a necessary part of the journey that will eventually lead you to your desired outcome. In the end, acting as if failure is not your final chapter requires a mindset shift. It requires you to redefine what failure means and to see it as a stepping stone on your path to success. It requires you to detach your self-worth from external outcomes and instead find your value in the process of becoming the person who can achieve your goals. It requires you to cultivate persistence, trust in the unknown, and stay focused on your vision. When you embrace this mindset, you stop letting failure dictate your story. Instead, use it as fuel to propel you forward, knowing that every setback is merely a temporary part of your greater journey. You learn to act as if failure is not the end, but just another chapter in your evolving story of success. When you begin to act as if failure is not the final chapter, you step into the role of an empowered creator of reality, understanding that every setback is an opportunity to evolve and refine your path. In this mindset, the story of your life is one you actively write, and you no longer wait for external circumstances to dictate your success or failure. Instead, you take control and trust in your ability to transcend challenges, knowing that even if you face failure, it is not the end but merely a part of a larger and more meaningful narrative. The power of acting as if failure is not your final chapter lies in its ability to transform the way you relate to adversity. In most cases, people view failure as a sign of inadequacy, a reflection of their inability to succeed. This often leads to a cycle of self-doubt and fear, causing many individuals to give up on their dreams prematurely. However, when you adopt the mindset that failure is not the end but a necessary part of your journey, you free yourself from the shackles of self-limiting beliefs. Instead of being paralyzed by fear of failure, you learn to approach challenges with curiosity and resilience, ready to face whatever comes your way. You begin to embrace each failure as a teacher, knowing that it is preparing you for the success that is just around the corner. This mindset shift allows you to redefine the relationship between effort and outcome. In the traditional view, People often equate effort with immediate results. If something doesn't work out as expected, they may feel that their effort was wasted or that they failed. This perspective overlooks the deeper value of persistence and patience. Success, in this view, is not a straight line but rather a winding road that requires dedication, flexibility, and adaptability. By acting as if failure is not the final chapter, you begin to see that every step along the way, regardless of whether it's successful in the traditional sense or not, is a building block that contributes to the greater whole of your life. The outcome is not always as important as the person you are becoming through the process. Furthermore, when you embrace the idea that failure is not the final chapter, you let go of the need for perfection. Perfectionism often keeps people stuck in an endless loop of planning and preparation, preventing them from taking the first step or moving forward after an obstacle. The fear of failure is tied to the belief that things must go perfectly for them to be worthwhile. However, this mindset stifles growth and prevents progress. When you act as if failure is not your final chapter, you accept that imperfection is a natural part of life and that making mistakes is part of the process of becoming better. The willingness to step forward even when things may not be perfect gives you the courage to take risks and to move forward despite the uncertainty. Each small step you take, even if imperfect, brings you closer to the realization of your dreams. Another powerful aspect of this perspective is that it helps you stay emotionally balanced during difficult times. When failure is seen as the end of the story, it often triggers feelings of frustration, despair, and anxiety. People can become overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed, and when things go wrong, they may feel defeated. However, when you understand that failure is not a permanent state, you learn how to manage your emotions with grace and resilience. You recognize that negative emotions are natural and temporary, and you allow them to pass without letting them control your actions. By acknowledging that failure is a part of life and not the end of the road, you cultivate emotional resilience. This resilience becomes a foundation that helps you bounce back stronger after each setback, knowing that the next step forward is always within reach. This mindset also encourages a more compassionate relationship with yourself. When you act as if failure is not the final chapter, you learn to treat yourself with kindness and understanding during difficult times. Rather than criticizing yourself for mistakes or perceived shortcomings, you begin to view these moments as opportunities for self-growth. This compassionate self-talk allows you to recover more quickly from setbacks because you are not weighed down by guilt, shame, or self-blame. Instead of seeing yourself as a failure, you recognize that you are constantly evolving and learning, and that each experience, whether positive or negative, is helping you to become the person you are meant to be. This shift in perspective fosters greater self-acceptance and helps you to approach future challenges with a sense of hope and optimism. When you act as if failure is not the final chapter, you also begin to see opportunities where others might see obstacles. The traditional response to failure is often one of retreat or avoidance. People may give up or abandon their goals altogether. However, when you refuse to see failure as the end, you become more open to alternative solutions and creative approaches. You begin to view each challenge as an invitation to think outside the box and to innovate. This attitude not only increases your problem-solving ability, but also nurtures an entrepreneurial mindset. You understand that no obstacle is insurmountable, and that there is always a way forward, even if it requires an unconventional or unexpected approach. This mindset also encourages you to persist in the face of adversity because you are no longer attached to the outcome. When you let go of the need to control every result and instead focus on the process, you free yourself from the stress and anxiety that can come with trying to force things to happen. The pressure of needing to succeed fades, and you begin to enjoy the journey. This shift from an outcome-focused mindset to a process-focused mindset allows you to experience greater peace and satisfaction, even during challenging times. You understand that success is not a destination but a series of experiences, and the lessons you learn along the way are just as valuable as the end result. As you continue to act as if failure is not the final chapter, you also become more attuned to your intuition and inner guidance. When you release the need for perfection or immediate results, you open yourself to deeper insights and wisdom. Your connection with your inner self strengthens, and you begin to trust your instincts more. This trust in your inner guidance allows you to make decisions with greater clarity and confidence, knowing that you are always on the right path, even if it doesn't always look the way you expected it to. You become less reliant on external validation or approval and more connected to your inner truth, which becomes your guiding compass as you navigate through life's challenges. Another important aspect of this mindset is the shift it creates in how you approach your goals. When failure is seen as the final chapter, goals can feel daunting or overwhelming. The fear of not achieving them can prevent you from even trying. However, when you see failure as a natural part of the process, goals become exciting challenges to embrace rather than intimidating obstacles to avoid. You break down large, seemingly insurmountable goals into smaller, manageable steps. With each step, you celebrate your progress and recognize that every effort is a success, no matter how small. This approach helps you maintain motivation and momentum as you continue moving toward your dreams, knowing that setbacks are simply part of the process and not a reason to give up. Finally, acting as if failure is not the final chapter allows you to inspire others with your example. When you demonstrate resilience and perseverance in the face of adversity, you become a beacon of hope for those around you. Your ability to rise after each failure shows others that success is not defined by perfection or the absence of failure, but by the courage to keep going, regardless of the obstacles. You create a ripple effect of empowerment, encouraging others to embrace their own failures as opportunities for growth and transformation. In essence, acting as if failure is not your final chapter is about embracing the journey, trusting the process, and refusing to let setbacks define your path. It's about understanding that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone towards success, and that each challenge provides an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. By shifting your perspective on failure, you unlock your true potential and empower yourself to create the life you desire.